Space Most Financial We're coming up with 10. Sadly, I don't have enough trope for manga studies right now, so I used it briefly for the anime spotlight, real quick. But today we're doing the manga studies today, and we're covering one of Otomo's many, many one-shot stories before Akira. We're doing Domu, aka Domu, A Child's Dream. I'm here with the Humble Survivors, Humble Marty.
Hello, I'm Humble Marty. I write things.
We have the Hound of the South, Donic Powell.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our discussion of Katsahiro Otomo's Domu.
We have the lovely Lady Violet Plus Size, who's also our pioneer.
Good evening, everybody. This is Leia Plus Size, your lovely Lady of Valor, and I am going to be more or less listening to this discussion of, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Dumaru? Am I saying it right?
It's Domu.
Domu.
It's not, we're not even talking about animation here. This is a manga study.
I'm not very knowledgeable of manga, so excuse my mispronunciation.
It's okay.
Well, we'll send you the link so each of us can read it.
I have not had a chance to read it. I have not had a chance again.
Of course.
I apologize. I think I appreciate you sending me the links for it, but my passion for it is not as great as yours. That's the most humblest way I can describe it.
Oh, that's okay. Did you at least skim it?
Yes, I skimmed it, but I can't say I can remember everything I skimmed. But I did skim it.
Did you get to the parts that are usually covered up by a bunch of wrestler accountants?
I love the way you do that. I got to some of it. I can't remember where I left off at, but I did get to some of those particular little naughty bits.
Even down to when Esco met the firefighter?
Esco met the five. You know what? I can't remember. I don't think I did.
The little girl.
I intend to. I said, well, that looks interesting. I'll come back to that later. But I guess other things just got in the way.
Thank you for being one of the people that's going in kind of blind here.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to warn you ahead of time. The fight scene can get hard to follow, and the antagonist is a literal serial killer.
I got that feeling when I started reading it, so yeah, you're not shocking me too much. I kind of had a feeling that's what it was. That's what he
From
was.
the article of good old reliable pal Wikipedia, Domu is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Katsahiro Otomo. Similar to his work Akira, the story centers on an old man and a child possessing extrasensory powers. It was serialized between 1980 and 1981 in Futobashi Basha's Action Deluxe. The chapters collected and published as a Tankobon in 1983. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I don't care. The main inspiration for Domo came partly from an apartment complex Otomo lived in when he first moved to Tokyo, and partly from a news report he heard about a rash of suicides that occurred at a separate apartment. Domo won an Excellence Award at the 1981 Japan Cartoonist Association Award. Was the first manga to win the Nihon SF Taisho Award, and won the 1984 Seiun Award for Best Comic. It was released in English for the North American market by Dark Horse Comics, initially a per-volume basis in 1995, and then compiled in trade paperback form in 1996, reissued 2001, and was one of Dark Horse's comics' top sellers for that year. Okay, bare bones synopsis: Mr. Ueno, a tenant of the tower block apartments at the Tsutsumi housing complex, jumps from the roof of one of the buildings in apparent suicide. He is the latest of the 32 mysterious deaths that have taken place there in only 3 years. Inspector Yamagawa and Inspector Takayama investigate death and find it was impossible for Mr. Ueno to go on the roof, as the lock of the access door has long been rusted shut. Yamagawa interviews the complex's manager and is told of a few residents that have caused problems within the past, including Ms. Tetsuka, the central woman who was sent to a mental hospital after a miscarriage; Yoshio Fujiyama, nicknamed Lil Yo, a strong but mentally disabled man who was accused of child molestation by other residents; and Yashikawa, an abusive alcoholic. The manager also mentions Chojiro Uchida, nicknamed Old Cho, a senile old man who lives alone. Do I need to even keep going?
Not really. I think those were like the main characters. I mean, Lil Yo is basically the Japanese version of Mice and Men. The lady that had she'll tie things up later, and Old Cho, you'll find out why he's creepy later.
Though these things
In other words, he's not who you think he is.
Oh, he definitely isn't.
I'll freestyle the rest. So for a while, we get a series of investigations, along with a few murders and a few shock deaths, up until a young girl named Etsuko and her mother move into the apartment complex, which gives Old Cho some serious bad vibes. And then later on in the story, things get absolutely apeshit.
Could we mention like some of the things that usually tip people off that Old Cho is a bit off?
You go ahead, Marty.
Okay. The reason why I got into this is I liked that they took this from
Wait. So we're on to first impressions already?
Darn it, I'm sorry. Okay, back to Old Cho. Old Cho likes to keep souvenirs from the people he's killed.
Well, let's start with first impressions real fast. Let's start with you, Marty. What's your first impression of the story?
My first impression of it was it was a slow bird story, one that took a while to get going because it was trying to, you got your investigators, you've got your suspects, and then you got the murders, and it had a very good, it actually, I don't know, I liked when the cops showed up, and that was when things started to get interesting for me. Okay, and the one that he's just showed right there is Etsuka. And she is basically an ordinary kid, strong sense of justice, even stronger power set. It's basically when she showed up, Old Cho there's this one spread that shows his face close up when he actually found out he's got a rival. He doesn't like rivals. He's like that kid in a video game that doesn't want there to be a higher level player than him.
This is the interview with Otomo.
Oh, wow.
It's a very long interview.
Mm.
It's one of the first victims. But we'll keep going. I'm just scrolling down so that everybody can see some of the
And
some of the panels.
And the kit. There we go. There's some of the souvenirs. You don't know about it yet, but he does not, Ocho does not like children.
Yeah, when you read this at first, you at least you confused. Like, oh, wait a minute. So why did Ultimo like drop out the single panel in this collection of toys and whatnot? However, when you read further along, going into Domu, which yeah, it's a slow burn. However, the mystery surrounding that panel comes back when you learn more about Osho, and which effectively pays off that particular moment from the beginning of the manga.
Mm-hmm.
So keep in mind, this here, well, what Ultimo did in building up the mystery and tension surrounding the show and the supernatural phenomena that was going on like in that apartment. That is an example of how to do slow burn storytelling right.
Dom, give me your first impressions.
Well, it was in a way a mini review. So, well, when I started reading this again, it like a lot of memories started coming back on why I read this years ago, because this remains like one of Ultimo's like many works before he did Akira and onwards, and it didn't disappoint me.
And Leia, you said you skimmed through it.
Yes, I skimmed through it.
So, what was your impression so far as you were skimming through along? Did the art was pleasing to the eye? Did the characters was there any characters that gave you some notice that caught your attention?
The artwork was very well done. I can't say, well, I got to be honest here. I can't say one particular character stood out to me. My vibe from reading this is it took me back to those days in the 90s when Hollywood was doing, I have to use a movie reference here. Sorry, but when they was very obsessed with the serial killer, and the serial killer was sort of like the protagonist more than the person who is hunting them down. That's the impression that
I
I
would
got
counter
from it.
it
I felt,
was the
Hmm.
night. It was more of a '90s slasher film.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
impression I got was police. The impression I got was a police mystery, kind of like Columbo. But
Procedural.
that's just me. I do a lot of mystery writing and I watch a lot of cop shows. That's my background.
My
Well,
impression was
my
like
question.
you want to go ahead, Don?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, my impression was Columbo mixed with Millennium. A TV show made by
Ah,
the same creator of X Files.
Hmm.
yeah, it did get that vibe. My vibe was I know I brought Stranger Things as a comparison. That's not really a good comparison. It's more of a
Yeah.
it's more what you said. X Files meets Columbo with the police procedural and the supernatural phenomena, especially when X Files was tackling psychics and espers and the like
Hmm.
Hmm.
in those stories.
Well,
Um,
well, let's not forget Millennium as well, because it touched on psychics as well,
yeah,
along with demons as well as Nostradamus and his prophecies.
but yeah, it was a combination of the old, well, not necessarily the '90s. Let me roll back what I said. Not really the '90s.
70.
The '90s slasher films, more of the '80s slasher films. With a mixture of kind of
I
Silence of the
like.
Lambs.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
It
that's
was
the
hmm.
It's very Silence of the Lambs. Yes.
I can see the comparison.
Yeah, especially.
It's got that feel to it.
Well, the thing is, as a reader, you didn't know. No, a show will turn out to be a serial killer who happens to possess powerful psychic abilities. Okay, so
The signs were
when
already
the
there.
reveal does it, not saying even like with the hints and
Mhm.
and the immediate release was of that reveal of what he can do. Like the payoff is still worth it, which further underscore like how terrifying of a bastard this guy is.
Best part about him was the build up to him. Everything leading up towards him. It was not like an Akira where it just starts to go in fast pace. Like Humble said, it was very slow burn. It was definitely almost got he had that slice of life feel for the start. That is until when the death started rolling in, like especially it only came to a head when you have two law enforcements dying all of a sudden. You had the first you had I think it was the young guy is Yamagawa, right?
Hmm.
Or Takayama. I think the young guy is the young officer is Takayama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't. Man, the problem here is their names blend all in together in a way. But no,
How you tell them apart is the senior officer is the bald guy in the trench coat.
it's not
The
even that. It's
younger
just
guy,
it's like
head
you get
wrapping.
distinguished them by look. It's just you cannot pin a name on them entirely because they roll off the tongue too fast. But we got oh, I can't see it from right there. Let me click on the hang on. Where it says his name. Where it says his name. He introduces himself, or they say his name. You know what? We're not gonna spend too much
Oh
time on that.
yeah, this is actually the part where you get to hear the Genji Ueno was the victim.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
first
Here,
victim.
see, head guy, bald, thin and comb over. He's
Hmm.
the head guy. I just remember him as Detective Baldy.
Well, we'll see to that then. It, young guys. One of the police officers that was patrolling around the apartment building ended up getting killed and his gun taken away. That's where things starts to come to a head, and then solely Inspector Ball guy gets his gets killed too. So it's like that's where you kind of that's where you kind of get a sense where old man Cho is kind of slipping. Like even for a guy who is all powerful with his abilities, you don't want that much of a paper trail. But then again, he's been doing this for 31 years right now, and so far, it's drawn the attention of law enforcement. You would think he would, once the police officers start to snoop in, he would start vacating the premises at this point. But then again, he's old and he's probably senile, which I'm going to cover it a little bit later on. We're going to get a little deeper into that. But that's where things start coming to a head, and where things start getting out of hands when Etsuko, the at this point when he took out Inspector Ball guy, I'm gonna say he's Yamagawa. You know, that's where he you gotta get a sense that he was at his most superior. He felt superior at this point. He was invincible. Nobody can stop him at this point, especially if he's taking on the police and killing them one by one, left and right. That's where he got a sense of arrogance up until Esco arrived. Now, Humble states that he doesn't like kids. I'm firmly on with her on that one, but I have a different theory. Would you guys regale me on this one?
Uh, sure, go right ahead.
Well, the thing is, my first impression of well, I think I said my first impression. Excuse me. When I first read it, The first time I read it, back when I was in high school, I thought that the children were kind of his weakness, and akin to the weakness of the sleepwalkers in Stephen King's book Sleepwalkers, or in this case, the movie adaptation.
Mm.
You guys are following me on this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
In the
Yep, I
presence of
got you.
children, in the presence of children, he felt threatened. Now, and to me, that's how I interpreted the first time. But more so, excuse me. But when I actually sat down and read the book again for a second time, I began to notice that Etsuko was drawn towards him. Excuse me, like a
Yes,
dog
you.
that's excuse me, like a dog that's confronted with its natural enemy in the wild. And I like to think that she was brought there to deal with him. You can think of it as an act of God, or a telepathic answer to the main issues that's going on, the imbalance, if you will. Like there may have been other forces that have given them their powers at work, but we don't really. That's not really the case. That's just my interpretation. There's never been no speaking of spirits in the story whatsoever. There is talks right in the middle of the story. There is talks that there were other people that had gifted powers too, and young guy brings one of those gifted to the apartments, and of course she gets a weird vibe, something fierce, to the point where she said, "I am out, and you need to get out too." That, like, I'm paraphrasing, but those were her words. She said, "I look, man, something's about to go down, and you need to go. I'm not sticking around. I am not sticking around. I'm done. Our, our our conclusion is over. You don't have to pay me. Nada. No, I'm done. I'm out." Mm-mm. She was a psychic in the vein of she has, I think, some sort of empathic connection. So
Yeah.
she felt the presence of others with the gift as well. She can
Um,
feel them, but she can also see. She also has a sort of minute clairvoyance in a way.
the scene that sets up Etsuko's and Old Cho's dynamic was the one where Old Cho liked to sit on this one park bench where all the kids played, and he'd watch his favorite hunting ground from a distance. And there was a baby near a balcony, and he's like, "Tomato, right for the plucking." And with a mental poof, pushes the baby several stories off to its supposed death. Etsuko catches it. You don't see it because they're using telepathy. And
Telekinesis specifically.
Etsuko, just in little kid fashion, she's like, "You're not supposed to do that, mister." And then she leaves, and he's kind of freaked out because he basically met the Domu version of One Punch Man, except it had curly hair.
Oh, that's actually a very apt descriptor.
Well, it's that's the beauty of what I like about Etsuko's character. She, 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 when she started talking, I'm like, oh my goodness, Otsubo really knows how to write children. She is far away
Yes, he
from the
does.
espers in Akira. Like she's nothing like them, where they just speak in this. They're very childlike, regardless, but they also speak a bit of a hyper intelligence, if you will, while retaining their childlike behavior. But Etsuko is Etsuko is different because she is all child. She's not. She is not an experiment that's escaped. She's not. She's not part of the of any institute of anything whatsoever. So she speaks just like a kid, unlike the espers in Akira. That's what that was. I'm not saying that's a negative towards the espers in Akira. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that was actually pretty entertaining to read. Considering what if any of you guys have ever read Akira before you ever touched Domu, that's a complete departure in a way, considering that Domu came before Akira, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the fact that she's scolding old Cho like she's his mama.
Oh gosh, yeah, scolding her the way her mama scolds her.
Even the fact that excuse me, my nose is stuffy. Even the fact that there's moments where when she glares at him, she's just scolding him menacingly. There's moments where she's there as if she's there for a purpose. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand.
There's a moment where she's not herself. In fact, even later on in the story when all hell breaks loose, even she even she has a moment where she's just not there. She is completely not there at all. It's like when people are trying to interact with her, she she says nothing. She's completely silent for the good half of that moment. And that was a scary moment, guys. Very scary for me.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
heartbreaking one is when she came to her senses after the fight in the children's hospital, and old
Yeah,
Cho took out all those kids in a gas explosion, and she was probably the only survivor. And when a kid's in pain, they don't tell you I hurt. They scream. Bloody murder.
that's the hell story, but yeah, she does make friends with a kid who has the abusive alcoholic father.
Hiroshi.
Yes, Hiroshi, and oh my goodness, I felt bad for Hiroshi. I
Me
really
too.
did. I felt really. The thing is
Mm-hmm.
about Domu is that it is carried on the backs of the protagonist and the antagonist, both Isuko and Oman Cho. But when you get into the side characters, they don't really have that much development, and there's not enough focus put upon them. And what we and what information we do get, it's like you you really feel bad for the character when you see them, but you don't get enough of it to really like let it excuse me settle into your brain. And Jesus, man, he's a victim. He's a complete victim of circumstance throughout this whole thing, this whole story. You know, his dad neglects him. I don't think there's ever a moment where he. I don't think there's ever a hint of him beating um, Hiroshi. But the scene that we do get with them together, his father neglects him because he's drunk and he's always looking for the next bottle to drink. And the dude is a sad sack. He's a
Mm-hmm.
terrible person through and through. But at the same time, I also felt sorry for Hiroshi's dad. I felt sorry for him too, strangely enough. And he was a victim of circumstance too, which we're gonna get into a little bit later. I hope you
Mm-hmm.
guys. Um, I guess we're at the 29-minute mark right now. So
Ooh.
if nothing else, guys, if you want to check out Domu yourself to read for yourself to get into, we've already shared a few things that was considered spoilery. we're about to get into some spoilers right now. So if you want to, 30 minutes right now,
Oh,
stop
yeah.
it right here. 30 minutes. Go read it wherever you can, and then come back and hear us go through this, bit by bit. But yeah, going back to what I said, Hiroshi's dead. I felt bad for that guy too. Strangely enough, circumstances be damned, but there are moments where I'm like, you don't really know why he's drunk. You don't know whether he works or not, whether he lost his job or the reason why he's drunk. Did he lose his job? You only hear what's speculated or gossip about from the tenants themselves. Um, the fact that he almost beat his wife, or he tried to beat his wife, and the cops had to be called upon him multiple times. There are moments where he's there's a moment where he stared at the police and he's just staring at them, and looking upon them, but he says nothing. And it's very haunting, very very haunting. But Hiroshi, going back to Hiroshi, like I said, I feel sorry for the kid because he got roped into something that he should not been a part of. He got caught in the ways he got caught in the crossfire during the big climactic fight, and he has absolutely
Yeah.
no idea what's going on, and he
No.
died not knowing what's going on. That's a shame. That was a shame. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I mean,
That's scary.
as far as everything was going, like as for the majority of the story, it's an investigation story, a procedural story so far. And even then, one of the cops when they got into Cho's apartment, it's completely empty except for a ring, a soul ring sitting on the floor as a clue. You know, there's three guys on the case right now. One of them is already dead, the Inspector Ball guy, and there's also young guy's good friend, and he's the one who discovered the ring. The young guy brings in the Esper woman, and that's where she gives him the warning. But
Oh,
of course,
yeah, she does that one
Yeah.
beforehand, but there was the one part that I found really. I know I shouldn't find this funny. It shouldn't be, but it kind of is. She comes in and she ends up sensing the tension in the air between Cho and Etsuko, and she nopes out of there faster than a rabbit caught between a bear fight with a wolf.
yeah, I said that earlier. But yeah, what about that one scene where Cho sends her a warning, Etsuko, in the form of the study kid that's into
The model
toys,
plane guy.
model plane. Yeah. What about that scene?
Oh boy, I felt bad for Etsuko. I felt bad for model plane guy. I was thinking, holy crud, this is a battle between two super powerful fighters. You know, that big battle that you usually see in Dragon Ball Z, and they didn't go to a wasteland to duke it out. Everyone is in the crossfire, and she's kind of the if this were a mystery story, she'd be she'd be the average sleuth investigator that kind of gets pulled in because she got her life threatened.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at Old Cho's outfit during the final battle, it's made from trophies, hunting trophies, if I should be so hinty.
I don't care if it shows death and gore. Fuck you too.
Oh God.
real pit stop, real quick. You gotta admire the art in this story. As you, as many times we marvel at the art of Akira, you gotta appreciate. This was early Akira. Which means this is not as detailed as Akira is in
Well,
comparison to
it's
Akira.
detailed enough.
But yeah, it's detailed enough. Jesus Christ! When you look at Akira's artwork, you see the improvement. I
Hmm.
mean, this right here is probably what was Ultimo in his prime, and even then, I don't know how old Ultimo was when he did this story. I really don't know. But one thing I can say is that for this to come from this to Akira is a feat in itself. I'm still thinking back to Kay looking out the window. I'm talking about that moment when she's looking out at the window. And mind you, I don't know how he did it. I really don't know how. I assumed as much as I could in the last stream when I brought that up. But damn, when every time I think about Kay looking at that window, right, and
Mm-hmm.
you see her reflection, and then you see the background amidst the foreground like that, I'm like, how in the hell did he accomplish that?
Um, you sketch in very carefully and make sure the eyeliner art's very clean, and you work very well with screen tones and lighting.
I guess so, because he had to ink that. I don't know if he inked it by hand or I don't know if it's digital or not.
It
It's,
is not digital.
No, it's not.
you don't think so? Y'all don't think so?
Uh,
No, no,
back
he did it all.
in
He did it all by hand.
back when Akira was first became popular, screen tones had not come into the Americas until like the early aughts.
Hmm.
And before that, it took an entire team of it took an entire team to try to do a single page if you're going to try to crank things out as fast as an animator would crank out hand-drawn scenes for 101 Dalmatians. Uh, for example, if you wanted an anime reference, look up the scene from Princess Jellyfish, and they have this one tenant that rarely comes out, but it takes all the roommates to help her finish her manga. That's what it kind of looks like.
Still, that was an amazing feat that he did, and this is just I would say this was just the beginning right here when it comes to Domu. I really do like the composition he does with Domu though. The emptiness when night hits that apartment, those three apartment buildings, it is pitch black in some areas. And the way how he does it and he frames characters within this environment, it feels lonesome. Like loneliness crept in. Like you feel alone and he does a really good job of making characters look vulnerable. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
In this environment, you in our day and age, we're a lot more fickle around people in constant danger or fickle about people going out alone these this day and age. And looking at some of these scenes when there's somebody that's by themselves, I get antsy, especially with Inspector Bullet guy right here, where he's just going through the patrols, and he's just by himself. And anybody who's seen a lot of horror and a lot of slashers, you being alone, you can easily tell that person's going to die now. But still, even with that in mind, you don't want anything bad to happen to the guy. All the same, You wanted him. I want him to live, but of course,
Same here.
It's a horror. The
yeah,
characters you get attached to are the ones that get the axe.
yeah.
Well, long
Especially,
story short, the best way to describe Ultimo is his art. He is he is the Japanese equivalent to George Perez, especially when it comes to adding in details onto characters and backgrounds. His writing style, on the other hand, is akin to Stephen King.
oh yeah, I did label this as if Stephen King wrote about psychic people in
I
Japan.
mean,
He has.
yeah, he has before, but if he was born and raised in Japan, then he would take it up to 11, just like
Oh god.
Ultimo.
Oh god. Yeah. Stephen King. A better analogy is
The
Stephen
most
King if he was a manga
conservative dude
writer.
you'd ever met.
Yeah.
But going back to that one scene where Cho sends her a warning, what was your impression, Dom, of that scene?
I was terrified, obviously.
When I first looked at it all those years ago, I was terrified too. Looking back at it now, it's like, dude, you don't have that much blood to be jutting out all over the damn place. But I also like to think that Cho was playing with the blood too to get it to spew out everywhere like that.
hmm However, it ended up backfiring on him because it actually caused the residents to not only be more aware of the disappearances, but also it caught the attention of Escal and the cops.
Well, not to
That's,
mention, not to mention, he basically cut an artery in front of a 5-year-old.
the best part about this is
Who would
also
not
uh,
freak out?
the thing is one thing I also liked was Ultimo was not afraid to make his characters vulnerable.
Hmm,
And
that's
Esco was
true.
very vulnerable because after that incident, she had to be admitted to as you said earlier, mentioned earlier, the children's hospital, specifically the facilities hospital. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what kind of apartment building is this? You got an apartment complex that also doubles as a medical facility, a medical clinic specifically, where they have a working bed where they can lay you in. Because they didn't take her to the hospital. They did not take her to the hospital. They took her to the medical ward that is in the apartment complex. I was shocked. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Let me move over there. It's like, shoot. That would cut. Man, think about it.
So,
The doctor visits. The doctor visits. The amount of pay will be cut down if you live in a complex that has a medical ward. Were you surprised? Were any of you guys surprised that that apartment building had a medical ward? Not as big as a,
um,
as a regular medical hospital, but it was a functioning medical ward with medication, working beds, where you can just sleep it off and you can go right back to your apartment.
I think it just makes sense that I think it makes sense that a lot of that they ended up having a wide range of people there. Like little Yo, he's definite. It actually makes sense
More on
now
him later.
because little Yo, the grieving mother, and even Cho with his age, he's pushing probably 80. He's basically Donald Trump's age. He's uh, to have medical facilities nearby and all this stuff you need in case of uh, let's just say mental breakdown, or in this case a murder, or an injury or something like that. That usually comes in very handy on a normal basis.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an older building, so probably used to be a hospital before then.
Yeah. I think they did speak on about its history. That it used to be
Hmm.
something else before it became an apartment complex. Now, mind you, it's a three-building apartment complex, and I was surprised that I was like, this place has a functioning medical ward. What the hell?
I remember when I took a trip to I think it wasn't Portland, Oregon. It was Providence, Rhode Island. When you travel from one part of that city to the other, they're like small towns into themselves when the cities get big enough. So that's probably not a it's probably not a uncommon sight for something like that to happen sometimes, especially during probably the 70s or the 80s.
I love this shot.
The grand reveal.
My eyes widened when with the panel reveal of Old Man Cho. It was essentially adorned in his trophies.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you get to this part while you were skimming through the pages?
I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry, I wasn't much help. I don't think I got to this part yet. I think I saw the image, but I didn't get a chance to read on, to get more context on it. Not that it didn't frighten me. It was more like, okay, this is interesting here.
I really do. Well, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Go back up, dumbass.
I nothing shocks me too much in manga because I expect them to be more. How should I say? I guess explicit with whatever violence is part of the story. So
It depends on the demographic because you would actually see that
yeah.
in older in like older teenagers and young adults in this case seinen. Shonen on the other hand, you see that but not as explicit as in seinen manga.
Mind you, Domu is a seinen manga. It's meant for adults. Just to let you know, Leia. But
Yeah.
this shot is majestic for several reasons. One, I just love how Ultimo draws people floating, people with psychic powers floating. I really do love the way how he draws people floating.
Yeah, I concur. Yeah, by drawing those who with psychic abilities, floating via telekinesis like that, it, it allows you to really capture to feel the depth and even the weight. Wait, like whenever, in this case, the weightlessness. So whenever people like levitate themselves like off the ground, especially with here you can actually feel the weight of the trophies that are adorned on Old Man Cho.
I can just feel the weight on him. Period. Just the
Hmm.
way it's like he's perched on something, but he's not. Now, grant the gun hanging down, you know, beneath his legs look like a stick, but it's not. But the way how he's floating, it's like he is sitting on something,
Like a
Uh,
but it's
pole.
like he's not sitting on anything.
the part I really liked about it is okay. One of the victims' names was Takeshi. The kids were wanting him to show the gun. The gun was gone when Takeshi was murdered. So when the detective comes up and discovers him, he's showing off the gun and the hat.
Yeah, that hat belonged to a kid. And that kid's no longer with us, unfortunately.
Hmm.
crazy because that was a testimony earlier in the story that was told by one of the tenants, the first victims. Uh, Categorically, in the beginning of this story, was the wife of the first victim in the opening of the story.
Mhm.
Well, if
Chronologically,
Yoshikage,
he's probably the 31st victim.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If
No,
Yoshikage
no, that's
Kira
31
of
years, right? How many
JoJo
how
Part
many kills
4,
that he made? It's
About
31 years, and I think they said it was 27 deaths.
yeah.
So he was the 27th.
what I was saying earlier, if Yoshikage Kira of JoJo Part 4 like ever meets this guy, even he will be terrified of Cho.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's creepy about Cho? Look at his face. Like,
It's just
look,
deathly calm and serene.
and full of bliss right now.
Right,
Very childish. It was
yeah,
a,
but
it's
as
very
Yeah.
but
intentional.
like as a reader, we're like the more you learn more about him and his crimes, it makes you even it fills you with a desire of just wanting to see this guy get his comeuppance.
It's
You know,
like,
to
can we punch him?
avenge the essentially avenge the victims that he had killed.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the vibe. I would say that too. That
And, and
Mr.
here's the
Punchable.
introduction.
guy's
This is
getting
the
away with too
introduction of
much.
Etsuko. You know? Yes, this is where Etsuko shows up
Hmm.
and shows them just sitting like no one's business.
Yeah.
But it's very creepy how Ultimo draws him in that type of state while he's murdering somebody. And it seems like his go-to method of killings is suicide, specifically
Uh,
jumping off the building.
Well, he compels people to commit suicide.
yeah,
That
that's because if the victim killed themselves, you can't point to a killer.
exactly.
And Old Man Cho, who has been a serial killer for at least 30 plus years, has learned how to be very careful.
He,
You also don't get a backstory of the guy, which isn't necessary from Ultimo, which makes him even more terrifying. Because when you do like get hints and clues of who he is, and as well as how long he's been committing these crimes as a serial killer, it makes him even more of a monster.
Oh, yeah.
oh, and to
Oh,
think,
that's what that old dude's name was, Inspector Yamagawa.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's Yamagawa, and that's Takayama, the young boy.
Takayama.
I'm glad we solved that mystery. Now I can call them by their full names. There's also another player that enters into the investigation as well. Of which who I forgot his name as well. Now he's the actual Inspector Ball guy. He's my favorite character, by the way. All the characters of the investigation crew, he's my favorite because he's just so down to earth in the way how he acts. He's basically, you mentioned Columbo, Dom. That's Columbo to a T almost.
Well,
Almost.
well, well. To be fair, Humble and I mentioned Columbo.
Okay, yeah, both you and Humble mentioned Columbo. And he kind of acts like him in some areas. I like him though. I like his joke. It's kind of like he's serious when he needs to be. But he's very laxed, very laxed. There's even moments where he offers to get them food,
Mm-hmm.
you know, take them out to lunch, and you get a sense of camaraderie among them too.
Yeah.
a good sense of camaraderie out of all of it. And you get that sense that they've known each other for a long time, a
Mm-hmm.
very long time. Especially the guy who just entered. You think that he's a new party. No, they know this guy. They have history with him, and I like
Mm-hmm.
that. I really like that about this story. It's like sometimes stories need more time to flesh out character relationships, but then again, if you write them really really good, sometimes you don't need them. You don't really need that.
Yeah.
So long as you can, if you can make it strong enough for the character for the characters to be very believable in their history, then you got it. Like yeah, sure. Some people can ask for. Sometimes they'll ask, "Wish we had more," or maybe we get more information about, it, like a backstory, like a flashback. Sometimes I say, you know what, we don't really need it. The story is going at a good pace as it is. But this is a scene that Humble talks about earlier. It's just, again, I really do love when Ultimo use the way how Ultimo uses negative space to center the characters. I really do. I love little Esco's march here. Everybody's rushing. Everybody's rushing towards the baby, and she's just marching off towards Cho like a mother ready to punch a child. That got chuck out of me. That really got a big chuck out of me. It's like, you in trouble, Cho. And the funny thing is, Cho's at this point, Cho should at least this is also Humble's favorite panel. She just tells him off and just walks away. And chooses not to further elaborate.
That's a favorite of mine too. Well, it's still a favorite of mine, because it well as each of us have mentioned, it's a first for Cho to actually encounter another sidekick. Well, one that can actually catch him that will lead to others to his crimes.
I also like the fact how petty he is, trying to throw a rock at her, and she catches it, and she just answers back. She answers back. I just love it. Just really now, blah. Just, this
I
is
can
his
honestly
face.
see
It's just
Domu
like,
be turned
oh
into a
snap.
full-length animated movie, because it has a complete story from beginning, middle to end.
I do love again. I do love the way how he does distance and everything. Man, goodness gracious, he's one of my favorite artists.
It's a master. No, with him, it's a master class in composition and perspective.
You
Mm-hmm.
cannot tell me he referenced that. You cannot tell me he referenced those buildings. But he was able to look at them and full realistically recreate them in a way.
No, like he used references right,
Mm.
and not I will say not be fully reliant on references.
Real quick, if you hear snoring in the background, that's my wife.
Oh, okay.
That's if my mic can catch it. If it catches it, and if you hear snoring, that's her.
Here's the kids, and there's
Swear to me.
Hiroshi.
Ah, yes. Just look at this guy. He's just strolling. And you know one
Mm-hmm.
thing I love and I wish would have got more fleshed out, which is going to be one of my criticisms of this story. And I do have my criticism. Um, Etsuko later befriends Hiroshi, and she meets little Yo as well. And the biggest crime is they never got a chance to talk to each other that much to establish a friendship. or at least establish a memorable encounters, other than she befriends the lonely kid, and everybody while everybody else is just talking smack about him behind his back. And one thing I gotta give Hiroshi, I really do like this look he's giving to the kids, looking back at them. And you could tell that he's got the you can easily tell that he has an animal in him, but on a whole, he is a gentle kid all the same.
Yeah.
It's a
And
shame
the
that
poor kid, the other kids are basically being what their parents are treating his drunk dad like. So the kids treat Hiroshi like that, which is, yeah, kids are cruel.
yep.
Yes.
I wish we had got more scenes with them.
I love the facial expressions.
Motherfucker like a monkey. Yeah, this is obviously Cho screwing with him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this is also leading up to the one scene, that one scene. I really do. I love this shot. I love this shot. It is so creepy in all the right ways. I I really want. You're right though. I would love to see this animated. I want to see it animated the same way how Akira's animated, but unfortunately that practice is no longer practiced. But dude, imagine him just working on his little project and Cho just materialize into frame. Much like the way how much like the way how the experts materialize or show up in Akira, how they fade in, fade out. Dude, just imagine that. Him just suddenly just showing up like that. Oh my
I think
god. And
I
especially the
think
scene. Especially with his
Studio
shot where he's looking over his shoulder.
I think Studio Orange would have been pretty good at doing that. Granted, computer animation, but it has gotten pretty good. And they're very good at doing the small body language things. Mappa does really good fight scenes, but they work they work their animators like a horse.
Still love the way he does hair too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some really good shots. I do love this scene where she were in their first meeting. I just love Hiroshi's confused look here. Like what the this is really a true to life interaction with boys and girls. It's like wait, a girl likes to play ball, and of course this is little Yo, the handicap.
And you just can't help but feel sorry, help but kind of like the guy.
Yeah, he reminds me of Ernie Hudson's character in The Hand that Rocks the Cradle.
Yeah.
We'll get into him a bit more, as I said earlier. He was one of the highlights during the battle. In fact, let's get into that right now. Um, so we already talked about the mob plane builder suicide.
Mm-hmm.
It does not stop there. That very same the very next night, like Cho is vindictive, dude.
Oh
He
yeah.
is super vindictive. Later that night, he pulled. I wouldn't say he possesses the dad. He mind controls Hiroshi's dad, giving him the dead officer's gun. And the first thing he does is cap a kid in the head. That's right, folks. Kids are not safe in this story. We already mentioned that the kid with the winged hat was like one of the victims. But
Mm-hmm.
man, the on-screen killing of a kid right then and there, and throughout that the sequence, Hiroshi's dad is under Cho's thrall, and he's out for blood. Cho is out for blood, and the dad is just completely under his thrall to the point where when he reaches Etsuko, he's actually talking through Hiroshi's dad in a way,
Yeah.
and he's trying to shoot her.
And
Trying to kill her, but he fails.
yeah, that's when I found out, man, this is like a battle between two superpowers, and everyone's just in the way.
And like I said, the reason why I felt bad for the dad because he just Cho just randomly just nabbed him and just start making him commit murder. So even if he lets go of the dad is now viewed as a suspect. And already people, and you know what's sad is like, yeah, he's a sad sack. We don't really get information about him other than he's a drunk, but we don't really know what whether he did bad things or not or commit any crimes or not, other than a whisper and murmur about what the incident between him and his wife. But so far, what we've seen of him, when we do get to see him, he's just a layabout. All he does is lay around, or he sits on the bench and just stare menacingly at people, whatever. But the thing is, if Cho was to succeed and let the guy go, that dude's going to jail, and he had no idea. And once he wakes up, he has no idea what happened.
Oh yeah, and little Yo.
I was like, man, if he was allowed to live, he would have went to jail. And worse,
He
they
did
still
a
crime on him.
yeah yeah, after he did a very good impression of what strawberry jelly looks like splashed against a wall.
they kind of used him as some, not necessarily a scapegoat. They used him as a possible suspect.
He was the first name told at the press conference, and the reporters went crazy.
They ran with it.
They went with the classic first blunder, first serve.
But yeah, you had that going on. But then Etsuko took it upon herself, said, enough is enough. I'm going to deal with you. And throughout the fight sequence, she's just chasing after him. At this point, she is dominating the fight. Cho was just want to get away from her,
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a really big moment for Etsuko. In fact, the thing is, Etsuko is vulnerable, but only for a brief time. But when she shines, oh my goodness, it's actually valid.
Mm-hmm.
She's not really a Mary Sue in that regard. If anybody's wondering, no, she's not a Mary Sue. She's not any kind of Sue. She has her strengths. She also has her weakness. Her weakness is that being a child. She sometimes she a good comparison would be the Adam Eve special from Invincible. when she was superhero as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, sure, she has really good. She's really good at using her powers, but she's still a kid, regardless. Her vulnerable weakness is the fact that she's a kid. She's still growing up. Etsuko's the same thing in this regard. She's really good with her psychic powers, but at the same time, she is still a kid. I still love this. They had a chance, and it was ripped away from him. I do love this scene, though. I know the comment section. Let's see. But let me get right back to the chaos. Okay, speaking of the chaos, what were your guys' standout moments during the chaos sequence? Start with Dom.
Mm,
Dom, that's your cue.
Is he
You need to
mute?
point your stick. He's muted, but
Oh.
usually he'll unmute himself and speak. Okay, we're going to have to just sacrifice his turn and give it to Mari. Mari, what's your impressions?
uh, my my impressions from all the chaos was they are two very powerful characters. Uh, Cho is simply a psycho, very childish. It reminded me of when they did the Pissed Off Gen Xers uh, podcast last week, and Ralts went on a whole bit about childish old men. And I was like, wow, this must be what Ralts probably, yeah, this is probably what Ralts envisions when he thinks of a childish old man. And Etsuko is, she is your plucky hero protagonist on the upswing. That's usually when the rock music comes out and everything's supposed to be okay again. But this is seinen manga. This is when everything's going to come crashing down in a blazing hell basket.
For me, it was a mixture of About Time and oh my goodness, this is this is insane. Especially the scene where where she got him cornered and he and most of the time when they were talking, it was basically a Looney Tunes skit
Mm-hmm.
during that whole run. Actually, it was a Looney Tunes skit. It's like she's just constantly trying to catch him to stop him, and the moment when she does corner him, he started throwing bricks at her, or
Yeah.
I think she throw bricks at him, and then he
Mm-hmm.
retaliates.
Yeah.
And then his next plan was to just blow up the whole building by causing a gas leak. And that was a very poignant moment, especially if you want to take this story as a superhero origin story. Hell, this actually did Glass way better than Glass actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it really did. Even before that movie came to be.
Because you know what, I've been wrong. Let me roll that back. This manga is basically what M Night Shyamalan thought he was writing when he wrote Glass,
Uh,
when he directed
I
Glass.
I say he should have read Do. He should have read Domu and actually took use what Ultimo done to really make the battle between Cho and Eska count. Why made it count and matter to the overall story, and apply that to the battle between like Dunn and Glass.
But yeah, the now that you're here, Don, what was your impression of the chaos, and what was your highlights?
Well, thanks. Well, my impression was we we all knew what this was heading, and I was rooting for Eska to take down the bastard.
Enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there was the action came with a tragedy as well, and spoilers again if you guys are still here. Hiroshi dies.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
barely
but he
a
didn't
guy
die.
she barely met
However, he didn't die like a
dies.
chump.
Hmm?
I said, however, he didn't die like a chump.
Unlike his dad, but yeah, he gets shot by his own father through Cho, and that's what sends Etsuko off the wall and start chasing after him. But I think that came after the gas explosion, right?
Um,
Yeah.
the gas explosion was, I think, the climax,
Yeah, it was the climax.
but
Okay.
I think Hiroshi got shot. Lil Yo was I think the one that also got shot after just shortly before he brained the guy's head out on the side of the wall.
Yeah, that was a big. Before I even knew the context of Cho, just I mean, Yo just literally just mangling Hiroshi's dad. I was like, oh man, get that bastard. Now I was like, oh man. At the same time, he didn't deserve that. And the reason why I feel sorry for Hiroshi's dad is because I want to feel sorry for Hiroshi's dad. Because again, we have no information on what led what led him up to this point to the bottom of the bottle. For all we know, Hiroshi's dad could have been a good man that was brought down to his lowest point.
Mm-hmm.
This
And
man,
that and that lowest point caused him. Excuse me. That lowest point has caused his wife to ultimately leave both him and Yo, because she couldn't stand and like the him becoming an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
and what's sad was this man will never get a redemption, and that's kind of true to life. Unfortunately, most people don't really get that second chance or that chance to pick themselves up and clean their life up. And
Mm-hmm.
worse, an innocent loses their life too. In the case of Hiroshi ends up paying the price as well. And he
Yeah.
died. The last thing he saw was his dad pointing a gun at him.
Yeah, it had to
Mm-hmm.
ouch.
No, that really stung.
That's what sucks about that. He died. The last thing he saw before his before he died was his dad pointing a gun at him and pulling the trigger,
Mm-hmm.
E-
and did not
Even
know
though
what was going on.
he was effectively a meat puppet by Cho.
That's even sadder because I'm pretty sure that if Etsuko knew what was going on and was able to free him from that control,
Mm-hmm.
he would not have pulled that trigger.
Yeah, I was at in a way, like that could have been a essentially at that final one of the final moments from Naoki Urasawa's Monster. I was like, where essentially a dad like in that village, like he was at his lowest. However, he was able to save his son from Johan, on where essentially he was able to redeem himself. So as well as redeem himself in the eyes of his son, not
Mm-hmm.
just for his own sake. But for Yo's dad, he unfortunately really didn't get that chance.
Hiroshi.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hiroshi.
Hiroshi's dead.
Yeah, Hiroshi's dad. He unfortunately didn't get that chance.
I do like this shot of the of Plain Boy.
Yeah.
This is
Hmm.
so it's just so slasher horror. Just a look of just you can easily tell he is mind controlled by Cho.
Mm-hmm.
Leia, how are you feeling right now? Does this
I'm
does
feeling it.
this shot invoke a sort of tingling terror just staring into your
It
soul?
has. Yeah,
It just
it
reminds
is
me I
terror
still have to
and
work on
very dark.
underjaw lines.
Say again, Leia.
It has terror and it has a darkness. Again, this is a character that, as I was halfway reading through it, I said, "Where's the guy? Where's the guy to come in and catch this guy?" Because this guy truly is sick, and what he's doing is sick, and we should not be sympathetic to him. But there is a terror and a darkness to it that we've been seeing a lot lately in certain forms of media.
Well, it's to put it another way, Leah, is it's type of sinister that is missing in fiction.
I'll give you that. Yes, I'll give you that. But I've also
You
seen
don't
it
give a fuck. Don't give a
in
fuck.
other
You
tales.
too.
I do give you that. But I've seen it also in some other tales as well about real life serial killers and maybe some that are fictional. But yeah, I'll
Yeah.
give you that, Dom.
You know what? They didn't even. You two didn't even take down any of the Akira streams when I showed some of the violence in that
Mhm.
one. So what am I worried about?
Well, we can say this is for educational purposes only, and none of it is meant to represent anything real or living. It is all fiction.
It's
Okay,
part
that
of
legal
the
stuff
dark.
out of the way. Back to the review.
It's part of the darkness seen in Domu. Ooh, there is still a light at the end of the tunnel, like through Etsuko and the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this jackass.
Creep City.
God, look at that. Look at that skyline.
Yes.
Look at how
Yeah,
he.
artists, take notes on the on this rendering. All right,
Look at
this is
how
a
he draw
master
the
class.
lights. This is black and
Mm-hmm.
white. Look at how he draw the lights. Look at how
Well,
the
Mm-hmm.
lights
lights
illuminate.
and shadow. Let's not forget that.
I really would like to know his approach to this. Look at how the. Oh my goodness! In the dark areas, especially especially in the dark areas, you can feel those lights.
Holy cow, that cross hatching is insane.
I mean, look at the far left where the shadow is, where the squares are. You can feel those lights on your eyes. Goodness gracious,
Mm-hmm.
Ultimo, how did you, man? I would love to study under you. Once we get past the language barrier. But look at all these lights. But specifically, I'm looking at the one in the far left of the panel. Like, can you see it? You
Yeah.
got the ones that's slanted to the side.
Yeah.
Just look at that specifically.
Yeah.
You can feel you can feel all the rest of the lights, but specifically that was drawing me in like a moth to the light. Just that right there, the diagonal windows, especially in the dark area, he nailed that really good, really good. And goodness gracious, look at that isolation again. You can almost run that the Full Metal Jacket vroom sound
Yeah.
through the sequence. Yeah, yeah, y'all seen Full Metal Jacket, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The scene, the scene where that one particular scene,
The scene
well,
that did the thing?
the scene where they soaped them,
Oh.
where they make that where you hear that sound in the background. You could almost play that in the background for this guy.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna read this book again. Even the weight of the gun, you can feel that even though it's floating, or at least the way how
Yeah.
you can kind of like just get a sense of the weight. Your brain just imagines the weight. And what's crazy is that he gives him that gun, and later on, the following next night, that's where it starts beginning. And it's the scene where they find the ring and find his room empty. This is where this is where a young guy Takayama goes to find the find some of the espers or anybody with a special gift here and there. That's where he finds the one lady. I like how she's designed.
I like her.
For a
She's the
brief
smart one. Nope, 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 nope.
Oh, and here's Etsuko torturing him from a window. Yeah, nothing's would happen if Etsuko just left him alone, right? Nah, nah. No, we ain't gonna say that. She's the hero. She had to stop him.
After the way he traumatized her, yeah, he's gotten into me.
Speaking of reflections, look at this.
Ooh.
This is before it got more refined in Akira with K.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, this is beginners right here for reflections. K, the reflection I'm referring to with K, like you can see through it and everything, and still get a sense that it's a reflection. But like I said, Ultimo improved over the years when he made Akira. And I don't know how long it took for him to make each panel in each chapter. I'm sure it took him a while.
Yeah.
Again, one thing I love about Ultimo, when he draws people into stress, you can feel how distressed they are in their facial features, their facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
You can see she's in pain. And of course, this is Homo's favorite, where she nopes out. And the only reason why she walked off is because they're having a stare off. That's all it took for her to leave is because they're having a stare off.
Yep.
It's like all because they're having a stare off. That's what she said. I'm out. It's a little kid and an old guy having a disagreement, and I don't want to be part of that. Look, even that, just the desperation in her look, and look at Takayama. He's just confused. Poor guy.
Well, considering his experience with things, he ended up arriving at the scene a little too late.
All of them did. And this is the scene with the kid. And yeah, the infamous shot. Kid's not safe in this story.
Oh yeah.
And look at that face he's making. That's not Hiroshi's dad in the moment. That is not Hiroshi's dad.
That's Ocho.
Living through, well, not necessarily living through him, just reacting through him. This is where everything's just...
Oh, that's not creepy. Oh. That's the Uber Eats guy for the zombies.
All we want to do is eat your brains. We're not unreasonable. I mean, no one's going to eat your eyes. I love this shot. She's just there squaring up. I love this shot. I love the use of black just to single her out in the single panel. Come play with us forever. I'm kidding.
That's a solid use of positive and negative space. So
I love her
so the
eyes.
readers know where to focus their eyes on.
I love how he always draw her in profile with her eyes. during these sequences, especially when sometimes the fighting stops for a while and just zero in on her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Come at me, bro. Roll up." It's like, you know, some shit's about to go down. It's about to go down. And look at Hiroshi, just none the wiser.
Oh
The
my.
good thing, is that they evacuate during the whole series. They evacuate everybody, almost everybody.
Yeah.
And look at it. Look at his eyes. I love the way how he. I love the way how he tilt his left eye to the side like that. Oh, here's the moment right here. Now we're just going. Now we're just going panel by panel at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. She
That
straight
had
up
to
twists his
hurt.
arm.
Through telekinesis, mind you.
Yep. Oh, this is even worse. You know what's worse about this whole scene? He comes
Again,
in,
at the most impromptu time possible.
comes right
Well, not
in,
impromptu, but inappropriate.
in this scene, doesn't know what is going on, doesn't know why Etsuko's right there, why his dad is there with a gun in his hand, sees that his dad is hurt, you know, and first Yo gets shot. You know,
Oh.
I love this. I love that panel of Etsuko just looking at home dude. It's like, oh no, you didn't. And just she straight up flings the dad across the hallway. And what was cool about that, she thought that was going to pull him out for a while, and Hiroshi is going to be safe. But right now, her focus right now is on Cho. Of course, if these two panels right here were animated, she disappears. I can
Yeah.
guarantee you that's what she did. She disappears.
Well,
Just zoop.
she doesn't have phasing.
I don't know. She just disappeared. I'm saying
What?
if it was animated, I don't know if
She
she
doesn't have
flew.
phasing nor teleportation.
Well, the thing is, we don't know what her powers really are because this is early Akira. My my thing is, if she does float up in the air, where she's gonna go? She she's there when gone the next, and everybody's still in the same position that they are that they're already in. So you can only rule out that she either teleported or she disappeared and reappeared somewhere else. Because he would have Ultimate would have to add in an extra panel of her taking off and taking flight. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will give you that.
But again, like I said, this is early Akira. They don't really say what power they can really do at this point. So it's like I can only just speculate what she did in that one scene. I'm not arguing that she can't do that. No, I'm not arguing that she can either. I can only give you what I'm speculating here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the end all be all, by the way. But like I said, if it was animated, I think that's what would have happened if they had to animate that. I think that's the only choice that they would have to go for that panel. In
Okay,
fact,
this panel's really nice, especially with all the action in it.
oh yeah.
There's also the motion lines too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me go back up. You said motion lights?
Motion lines.
Oh yeah, love motion lines. Really love motion lines. I always get that sense of momentum and mobility. Oh my goodness, motion lines are beautiful. Goodness gracious, look at this shot. Now we're just going through panel by panels, guys. So you guys are still
Mm-hmm.
here. stick around. Like, just imagine. You guys are getting a free look at a manga for now. She just squared up. Here's hang on. Here's Esco right here. If you can't see her, Leia, if you can see the mouse,
Yeah, I see it.
this is where she is, and this is where Cho
Okay.
is.
Okay.
I just love. I just love. They just acting like children.
This just
What
shows
a
you how
horrible
petty
little
Cho
boy
is.
you are! How could you do that to poor little Yo?
You just give them bleh, like a kid. What'd you say, Dom?
It just shows you how petty Cho is.
For reals, man. It's just, oh my goodness, I just love her body language. Oh, I definitely love this shot where they're dropping down on the building.
Mm-hmm.
I really do love that shot. At first, I thought she was running down the wall for a minute there, but no, she's actually floating down.
Yep.
This is where things got a little bit confusing because I didn't know where everybody was. I know there's a body here. I'm not sure if that's Etsuko. I'm gonna assume that's Etsuko.
It's the, let's see, apartment buildings right here. So it's they're jumping to the next building.
Yeah,
Well, floating to the next building is more accurate.
yeah.
Doo-doo.
And he
Well,
breaks.
no, actually, well, the more like it's more flying than floating.
Yeah, as you can see in these next two panels, they're kind of upside down now. In their perspective, they're upside down, but they're tilted, facing the ground with their backs, which was a nice touch. I say to say the least for Otomo again. Credit where credit's due. The way how he drew the buildings. Just goodness gracious, this man is ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Even this scene where he's flying sideways, he's panicking at this point. Of course, he reveals his trump card, and of course, this happens. And my goodness, this shot right here.
Ooh.
Like I said, I wish we could have gotten
Uh-oh.
more. I wish we could have gotten more with Cho, with Sumi, Hiroshi, Lil Yo, and Etsuko together. They were too brief. Their meeting was too brief. It's still sad, but like it would have had more punch if we had more time with them.
Yeah. Well, that's why I mentioned this earlier. Domu can work as a full-on animated movie where you can actually you can include moments like that as an expansion before this hit before all things really hit the fan when Etsuko faces off Cho.
And Cho here just does not give a damn. He's throwing bricks at her at this point. I just love this. I just love that panel right there where she's like, oh no, you didn't. It's like, look, I'm getting tired of you now. It's like, you thought you got me? No, I got you. and all the kids are looking at him like cats, just staring at him. And his insecurity is oh, I really do love this scene. I actually love this shot too.
No, he's a man on a mission, wanting to avenge Hiroshi.
This dude is, I like to call him Incredible Hulk at times because he looked like it. Classic Gray Hulk.
Yeah, or Grey Hawk than the Green Savage one.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's his dad at this point, or is it still Cho?
It's still Cho.
It's still Cho.
And look, this is tragic. It's cathartic, but it's still tragic because his dad is not in the driving wheel. And it's just sad that he goes the way he goes.
Strawberry jelly.
and he was not done with him.
No, he was not.
Oh my goodness, he did not deserve. I'm sorry, he did not. There is not enough content in this story to warrant that at all. Of course, here's the crazy lady that we talked about. Here's another critique I have with the story. She only shows up for three parts of the story. She's barely in it. You could almost do the story without her. And nothing would have changed.
If she was in the background when the kids were playing and they were doing their thing, then it would have probably been a bit more sense. But yeah, she's like the weirdest plot hole I've ever encountered.
Mm-hmm. But
the weakest part of the story too.
Again, like her, she can't be alleviated if more was added to her in an animated movie format, because with Domu it has a beginning, middle, and end. Whereas with Akira, that can only be done as a TV series in animation form, of course.
I would have thought she'd have tried to save the kid, considering she lost one.
Yeah, they don't really flesh her out enough. She's just crazy lady for the sake of crazy lady.
Well, well, as what we've all acknowledged, this is early Ultimo.
Yep, definitely. Leia, what do you think about this lady?
I concur with all of you. She's nuts.
Good point.
But yeah, as the fight keeps going, as I said earlier about the gas leaks and everything, where he ultimately makes everything gas come up. You gotta give credit where credit's due. Where Etsuko does her best to save the buildings, to find out which ones that he turned on, and really masterful work on Ultimo's part on. Just because she's powerful does not mean she solves a problem quickly. She does her one thing she well, actually no. She solves it in the way a child would solve it, but it's also genius. So when he turns on all the gas pipes and everything in some of the apartment complexes, right? Here's what she thought. here's where she get the idea of how to solve the problem. Open all the windows, or open up the windows.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't open up all the windows. She opens up some of the windows, but that was the solution to the problem, which I said smart.
Mm-hmm.
Very smart. Would that have worked? I don't know. I've never been in a situation where there has been a gas leak at all, so I wouldn't know. But I commend her for thinking that solution. That's where I really give my commendation to her. Like, smart girl. Don't know if that would have worked in real life, but smart tactic. Unfortunately, he pulled a fast one on her.
Yeah.
And the building ended up exploding. Worse, the lady right here takes Hiroshi and she throws him off a balcony. Well, not necessarily a balcony, over the railing of the walkways. And Yo leaps in to catch him and falls to his doom. It's like, Ultimo, what do you have? Why do you have such an issue with Hiroshi and Lil Yo? It's like, damn, turn the blade. Why don't you? And of course, the crazy lady gets her comeuppance, which is again sad because we don't know whether it's Cho's influence or is she under her own psychopathy. Y'all feel me?
Mm-hmm.
We don't really. We only get murmurs and rumors about her. We don't really know what her life was like, other than her mind broke when she had her miscarriage,
Oh.
and unfortunately, she's just there, and then she's gone in a split second. And I thought, and what I originally thought was, I thought that Lil Yo was going to confront her too, just the same as the dad, and as well as the police. The police also kind of had to deal with him too, and he fucked them up badly.
Yeah.
That part was crazy. He was straight up went on a rampage. He was up until that point inconsolable, completely inconsolable. And what's also sad is we never get to see Lil Yo's mother either, if he has a guardian, which is also another critique that I laid on the story. But in to sum it up, if those are still with us, or if you guys make it this far into the story, or in the stream, excuse me, Cho does get his comeuppance.
True.
And once everything is said and done, Cho does get his comeuppance. But before that, let's get into the scene that really impacted us the most. The scene where once Cho does the most heinous thing, which is blow up the building, Etsuko completely loses it
Yep.
to the point where
Indeed.
she loses so badly. Cho has nothing to counteract with her at all. He's back. He's on the defensive and on the invasive. So he's running through the whole complex while she's just tearing ass through the whole complex. And of course, Humble, you mentioned the firefighter with Leia. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
poor fireman. Oh my goodness, she was so pissed at what Cho had done. She took it out on everybody else like a child would,
Mm-hmm.
and not in a good way, in the worst way.
Ew.
Oh my goodness, that shot of what she did to the fireman. I'm gonna be going to that soon. Oh god, look at this scene. You feel sorry for that guy. You just want to
Yeah.
hug him. Just want to hug him. Excuse me. Oh, I love this. Don't you understand what you're doing? He's still making faces. And this is how he reacts to her. I love this shot. This is proto espers. This is pro K under influence of the espers, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Does this face look familiar? Yes, it does. It's K when she's under the influence of the espers.
Yep.
God, I love this shot too, right here, where it kind of goes negative in a way.
Mm-hmm.
This is where she's really like just tapping into her powers and just ready to just throw down. And Cho is trying his best to try to get away from her. It's like, dude, all you have to do is just leave the complex. That's all you needed to do. And he's just telling her that he's turning on the gas.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just got to figure out. She's just straining right now at this point, trying to figure out where to go. And she just blows out all the windows. That's how she figures. She blows out all the windows. And she's like, "See, no problem." Says, "No more problem." Oh God, I feel bad for this police officer too. Yo is just this. Little Yo is just seeing red at this point.
Poor guy.
This just chucks dude off and punches dude's friend. Like, oh my goodness. Says, "I go to kid." Kid? You mean that girl? Don't try. Stop. Me. I go. Don't move. I'll shoot. God damn it. Sorry, Marpatelli. And then look at that.
Boom.
Boom. Just straight up, just non-stop explosions. Now, quick question: do you think it was Cho's doing, or do you think that since Esco blew out the windows, she caused that chain reaction, or do you think that's a different building entirely?
I think it was a different building entirely.
I agree.
This is where she's pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Like she just tears up a building and just look at that. Look at this image right here in this first panel right here. This little demon child chasing after you. Oh my goodness. Oh, I hate this bitch. Oh, I hate her so much. And I don't even know her. I love this shot where she's perched on debris, and you got Cho right here floating down, and all throughout and what was cool about all this chaos that's happening, there's so much stuff happening on the side here. You see this confrontation right here, while this is happening outside of it.
Ooh.
And it's sad that Yo falls with Hiroshi like that. But yeah, this is where the final act begins to conclude itself, anyways. And look at Etsuko right now. Like you just want to hug her at this point, but you don't want to get near her.
Boy.
You don't want to get near her. We'll show you why in a bit. But it never forgets that she's a child. There's one thing I gotta give credit to the story. It never forgets that she's a child. Look at her. She's doing this while at the same time giving him the biggest beatdown ever. Let me enjoy this. Just put him through a wall. And he this is where he's done. He's like, I'm done. I'm done. I got nothing. I quit. I throw in the towel. He's just afraid of her at this point. There's a kid out there with the same power as him, and she's way more powerful than he is.
And not to mention more creative and versatile with her gifts. Oh, unlike Cho, who maybe once upon a time he was proficient, but with him in his current age, not anymore.
Come on, dear.
Yeah.
It's all right now. And there you go.
Yeah. Like, no, come on. Let's go. I know. Look, I know you're mad, but come on. There are still innocent people here.
She is 5. They don't think that far ahead at that age.
You would have thought that this was in another story. You probably would have thought this was a girl escaping from a laboratory, and is a security guard. But
Well, no, it's a girl stopping a serial killer, an older
the
serial
thing is,
killer with psychic abilities.
if you take the shot in a different direction, yeah, you can kind of see it justified. But man, this is just and look at this. This is the
Okay,
this is it.
that has got to be. I'm sorry, it's goofy in a horror movie sort of way, but it's also pretty messed up.
Oh my god, that was his face when he died. He was he was showing her compassion and kindness, just giving her a friendly face. Oh, poor guy, poor guy. It's like you just don't want to get mad.
Ultimo had to add in some black comedy in some way.
Well, not even that. It's just you just can't get mad. Excuse me,
No.
you just can't get mad at her.
Yeah.
No, you really can't.
Hey, look, we got our cover art.
Yeah.
In the Dark Horse release, this is the cover art.
And also, well, to add on to that, the cover doesn't lie. This scene actually does happen.
Mm-hmm. And she's wiping her tears. Oh my goodness, you just want to hug her, but you don't want to get near her. Look at this. She's just walking out while everything is. And this is where the building starts collapsing. And some of the building starts collapsing. Of course, this is where we get her mother. And it's her mother that snaps her out of it.
Yeah.
Think about it like this, guys. If it wasn't for her mother, she probably would have tore down half of the city.
Well, to put it another way, she would have pulled a Carrie.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah.
She would have pulled a Carrie.
Maybe more like Carrie Zilla.
I just love this shot right here.
Mm-hmm.
I really love this shot.
That shot's good.
You breathe a sigh of relief in this moment. And what's sad, we don't get enough time with the characters with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
But you're happy it's over, though.
True.
I would love to get more moments with. Look at Joe. Everybody left him alone. I'm not gonna show. I'm not gonna show what happens to Cho at the end. You guys will have to see that yourself. But he does get his comeuppance at the end. Like Etsuko does. Oh, Neil, so when did you get in here?
Hmm? Man, I wish I finished reading this earlier. It is available on archive.org. That's actually where I got my copy of Domu and to think I was watching Mob Psycho 100 earlier today. So wait, this story has espers too? A psychic child fighting a serial killer. Is this Domu or Earthbound? I don't know Earthbound, but I know this is definitely Domu.
It's a game with Ness. If you play Super Smash Bros., that's where Ness come from.
Oh.
It's a classic video game. It's a classic video game series.
In America, it's called Earthbound. In Japan, it's called Mother.
Yeah, it's called Mother.
Huh.
Yeah. You should check it out. It's really rad. I played it a few times along with Mother 3, the unreleased Game Boy Advance game. That's a sequel to
my.
Mother.
Oh.
It's fun. Those are fun games, but they're dark.
Yeah. However,
very, very dark.
However, like back then, like kids weren't bothered. Like with mature content.
And it's also best known for having the freakiest final boss fight.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
However,
It's
we
it's one of the
let's save
it's
that.
one of the top tens or top 12s.
However, let's save that for part two of video games for the real millennials in the
Damn
future.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said,
Well, before we head out, I do want to ask you guys if Domu by Ultimo would be animated as a film, who would you choose for studio as well as director?
Um, okay,
that's it.
animation wise, I'd probably go with Studio Orange because for when they did Beastars, they did really good on some of the characters' more nuanced body language. Like when Legoshi's rival was reading his body language, how he carried himself, or some of that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Well,
if
there's also
someone
a mixture of 3D and 2D art, or and blend
that is
and make
true.
sure they blend in they mesh very well like when they're animated.
That is true because, oh man, trying to get Otomu style panel for panel, that would be a monster of a project. Even if it
Hmm.
were just a film. I don't know who I direct it, but I definitely know if you're going to try to make it in a film, do not do it in the States because while there are some good actors here, there are also a lot of shareholders that like to tighten strings.
For English dub.
For English dub, um, I'd kind of go with, I think, Vic Mignogna's dubbing studio because it's newer, so you don't really have as many connections, and he does do
It's also
pretty good
not
work.
politically correct.
That too. Um, Definitely do not go with Crunchyroll for dubbing. They used to do pretty good, but now they're famous for putting the term male gaze in a manga with big booby dragons. And the one who suggested it is the one who usually plays the dragon with the biggest jiggly bits.
Yeah, and Marky is also the voice of Ria's Grimory of the anime adaptation of the light novel series High School DxD.
Yeah, maybe, but
But bottom
I
line is stay away from Crunchyroll and definitely stay clear from Funimation. Well,
oh,
granted, Fun
Funimation and Crunchyroll have ended up, but Crunchyroll ate Funimation
yeah,
in one of their latest mergers, so just avoid Crunchyroll. And if they're connected to anything like Sweet Baby Inc., which has like to do extortion, um, yeah, avoid those. And if you have a dubbing studio in Japan and translators in Japan, go that route because right now is not a good climate for American translators right now. It's kind of like if someone decided to take a necktie and twist it up really tight.
yeah. Well, the Japanese publishers and as well as animation studios have caught wind of how much political correctness has been running amok over here in the West. So
Yeah, a little bit,
they're being very careful. The
and
same thing with localizers over here.
yeah, a little bit, and we've had and they've got some of their own problems too. I think if I remember right.
We have a more important question. Will
And
Leia continue the story after we're done?
Um, how should I put this nicely? The artwork is fantastic. Like you said, the animator or the comic book designer is very talented. If I'm going to
Mhm.
continue, that will remain to be seen. I appreciate
It's
you
mangaka.
introducing me to manga. I can't say I have a passion for it, that it's for me. I have to be honest about that. It says for be honest, be fair here. I can't say that it's for me, but who knows?
Well,
Look, there's more to manga than meets the eye, because not every one of them is seinen.
Mm-hmm.
and to be fair, different styles have different tastes. Like for example, Precure is a lot more tame than Madoka Magica.
And say Sailor Moon is classical. It's classical magical girl, which actually helped like bring that genre of fiction, like, well, it helped revive it by giving it the shot in the arm that it needed, because
Yep,
back then the magical girl genre was not in a very good place before Sailor Moon came in and saved it.
true.
You mean to tell me Cutie Honey was
Well,
most death?
code named Sailor V, which takes place before Sailor Moon.
I
So,
think Cutie.
effectively, both of those series saved the magical girl genre.
Well, and Cutie Honey does have its own legacy of powerhouse females too.
Yeah, and it's all thanks to Gonagai, who helped set up the foundations for the magical girl genre through Cutie Honey.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, final thoughts on Domu. Very very good read. Is is at least 231 pages. If you guys want to check it out, go ahead and do so. The reason why I only brought up Domu is to close off Ultimo, because we're not going to tackle any more of his works yet. Maybe in the future we'll tackle memories one day, and maybe little by little we'll tackle some more of his work, because he has a sizable pedigree. I was tackling the ones that I was able to read, like Akira and Domu. Domo specifically, because Domo is like that one thing where, yeah, the Japanese were we and the Japanese are almost alike when it comes to storytelling. We just tell it differently.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget, like they take heavy inspiration from materials over here in the West, and actually and enhance them.
That being said, um, I thank everybody for being here. Those now six of you, and those non-existent motherfuckers that keep popping in and out. Thank you again, guys, for being patient with us throughout this whole look through of Domo. And be ready for come next week. What is it next week?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Next Tuesday, Leia, get happy now. We're
Oh, good
tackling
Lord.
the first season of X-Men, the animated series, and pretty soon we'll be tackling the second season. So I hope you
Well,
guys find the time to watch these episodes. It's unfortunately going, unlike the X Men Evolution series that we did years ago. We had enough time to do that before I thought about talking about the X Men Evolution series. Unfortunately, guys, we gotta be fast paced on this one. So whenever you guys get a chance to watch the next season, do so.
Also, would you also like to remind the viewers what's going to happen next Thursday for the Real Millennials?
We're gonna be doing comedy again.
Nope. No, that's this Thursday, man. I'm talking about next Thursday.
Tell everybody what we're doing next week, Dom, for next Thursday.
I am, as your second in command, I'm disappointed in you.
Bastards.
Next Thursday of the Real Millennials, we're we're going to be doing a Mother's Day special. In this
Uh-huh.
case, we'll be talking about mothers and mother figures in fiction, where they were then and where they are at currently. And also, obviously, Mother's Day is just around the corner because we're about to enter May. At the same time, when June comes around, well, the dads, uncles, and father figures they'll be getting love as well when Father's Day comes into the picture after Mother's Day.
So I think the Hound of South Dalek Pal.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us in Manga Studies, where we talk about another classic of Otomo's Domu. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Wolfton Media's channel, and make sure to keep up the good fight in keeping hope, idealism, and optimism alive in the world. Because remember, cynicism and nihilism are for losers. This is the Hound of South, Dominic Powell, signing off. Hope you all have a good rest of your night.
The pioneer and the one who we're trying to trick into liking this stuff. The lovely Valerie plus size.
Oh, goodness.
Come on, man. We're not tricking her. We're
Tricking.
easing her in.
Oh boy. Well, this
This
is Leah
thing
plus size.
possible.
This is Leah plus size, your love letter Valor, and thank you for joining us for this manga studies. I hope you enjoyed the story that Wolf 10 and the rest of my crew shared with you this evening. If there are any other suggestions of stories that you would like for us to cover and you want to express and talk about, please leave it in the comments below. I'm sure Wolf will appreciate that. Until then, we will hopefully see you all on Thursday.
Just a quick correction. I'm the pioneer of manga studies, while Leia is the pioneer of animation spotlight.
You heard the man. There it is.
Whatever, dog.
Mm-hmm.
You got your bags mixed up, buddy.
Humblest
Hey,
of
no
writers.
problem.
The humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Hello, I am Humble Marty. I am happy to be here and thank you for having me.
Of course. Once again, it's your Wolf Commander Wolf Tam. Remind you guys that you are the UN Spacey. Welcome to the Wolf Fleet.
Me and my friends get no respect. What does